welcome back or to bardicaggravation. That's Rick. That's Brandon. Is that right? I'm Kent. Today we are talking about, as you saw in the thumbnail, the differences between a group like Critical Role and a group like Legends of Avantris. If you don't know who Legends of Avantris is for some reason, they're Legends of Avantris.
They're a legend.
What? They're a D&D group. They show their stuff. Been doing this for 7 years, I think. 2 million subscribers at this point, pretty much. Yeah. They're second on YouTube anyway, only behind Critical Role. They've passed all the other professional groups because they're not professionals. We're going to tell you why your table can be like Legends of Avantris and why it's a pipe dream to try to be like Critical Role and the whole Matt Mercer effect thing. We've all heard about that for years. But nobody's ever given an alternative to this Matt Mercer effect and this Critical Role thing. And Legends of Avantris is that's a hard word.
Legend of Avantris.
Of Avantris.
You have to say it epically.
Epically. Mean it.
Legends of Avantris.
There you go. That's who it is.
That's huge.
So they are the alternative, and we're going to show you how that can be the case because it's pretty simple. But if you don't know them, start watching them. If you watch RPG live plays or actual plays, that's who you should be watching and we'll tell you why.
Check out Crooked Moon.
Video.
That Kickstarter.
Their Kickstarter broke the record.
What was the record?
5 million, I think, for an RPG Kickstarter project. It's a campaign book, campaign setting, all different subclasses and races for their campaign. We backed it because it's folk horror. It looks so cool.
It looks fun, doesn't it? It just looks so immersive.
So immersive, and I feel like horror is almost, they call it that, but it's also just, weird and fun. It's very like Halloween-y and witchy and all that cool stuff.
Halloween-y?
It's Halloween-y.
Halloween. Sort of like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Halloween-y?
Halloween-y. Yeah, if you're having trouble at your table with everybody wants it to be like Critical Role, stop that nonsense.
What? I can't beat Critical Role?
I mean, you can be if you want to go get trained in how to be a professional jack-off.
Whoa! Easy there.
Just saying it like it is.
We all have different relationships with Critical Role. You watched it for a while, right?
They're going to be full of hate. I watched the whole first season.
Yes.
I liked it. And parts of it I absolutely detested, but I liked more than I didn't like, so I kept watching, and I was like, okay. And so then when the second one came out, I said, okay, let's see what they're doing now. And I got 30 episodes in, and I hated it. All of it. It's garbage. Jester's great. She also has problems. First of all, why would you name your character Jester? Is her dog's name Dog? But you guys you watched Critical Role. How much did you watch?
I watched all of season 2.
And you watched the whole damn thing,
I'm
right?
right up to it. But I don't watch it. I've never watched it. I've always listened to it in the background. And I found that as I'm going through the seasons, I'm paying attention less, and I feel like it's an obligation to actually listen to it. Like, I feel like I have to just do it. Like,
it's such a slog. The storytelling is out the window. Matt Mercer, the first one, I feel like it was a good story, and I feel like that's the only story he had in him. He got lucky. He got it out of his system because he can't tell a story to save his life now. Argue with me all you want to, but it's true.
So how does Critical Role compare with Legends of Avantris?
I mean, obviously, number one is they're a bunch of trained professionals. They're trained voice actors, which means they're failed actors.
That's
what happens. They are trained professional voice actors and improv actors. So that right there, obviously, let's get that out of the way because that's common sense. That's why your table is not going to be like them because you're probably not a bunch of trained performers. But Legends of Avantris are just a group of friends like probably your table is.
Right.
That started playing D&D together and just really got into the role-playing aspect of it. They immersed themselves. We're going to get into all that in detail. But people love watching them. That's why they become so successful. That's why their Kickstarter broke the records. That's why they're at 2 million subscribers as a D&D channel on YouTube. Nobody has 2 million, except Critical Role, and that's for a different reason. The good news is you can be like them.
You can achieve this.
You can. There's a Legends of Avantris effect that is easily achievable if you just do what we say.
I've never heard Legends of Avantris effect.
We've created it. We
created
created
it.
it. Just
It's-
now,
it's
that's
happening.
what it is now.
We created this.
It's going to stamp out that stupid Matt Mercer effect.
So it's more positive than Matt Mercer effect. Matt Mercer effect's very negative. You will
It
never
is very
be like
negative.
this.
Yeah.
It's
for sure.
ruining games and tables. It still is. I know it did for a while, but it still is. So that's the first major difference is
Trained pros.
versus people who just do this over and over and over and are really, really good at it
Who are
without
just like
being
you.
trained.
Just like you.
Just like how many hours of D&D playing or RPG playing have you racked up?
Exactly.
A lot.
Because if you've been playing this for years, you're probably pretty good at it by
Right.
now.
For sure.
If you're not, pay attention. If you are, still pay attention.
Pick tips up from these guys.
Pick tips.
And while you're at it, like and subscribe.
When you feel like you're ready. Don't just do it.
Don't force
If you
them.
like it, then
Why would you
when
make
you when you start to get that little voice in your head that says, "I like this," hit the like button. It's very simple. If you're like, "I want to see more of this," hit the subscribe button. But when you're ready, we're not pushing you.
Or just do it now.
So the other major difference is you can also become like Legends of Avantris because they're fully transparent. If you watch
Yes,
their interviews or their Patreon, there's like a treasure trove of stuff, and they just lay it all out.
They're not hiding anything.
No, they want you to benefit from their experience and their mistakes and everything
Yeah,
else. So they tell you, and it's a masterclass in role playing. They have this thing called Neon Nights. They did like I don't know, just a few episodes of it, but it's this great deep dive. They do stuff after every session.
Yeah.
They do interviews with people, and they tell you all their fumbles and foibles and things like that.
It doesn't have to be pretty and perfect with them.
Not at all.
They show you everything. They don't care.
Critical Role is very
Oh my gosh.
everything's to the vest and secretive. So you don't learn anything from them. Because even if you do go, I'd like to learn how to do what Matt Mercer's doing or what they're doing. Let me see if there's some interviews. Try to watch one. Matt Mercer did a little series of how to be a GM because they made him do it. They're like 30 seconds each, and there's nothing to learn from them. Just, don't try so hard. The end. Like,
Wear
fuck
a
off.
vest like me.
Yeah, it's my magic vest. They're Hollywood. That's the problem. You're dealing with Hollywood versus real life. And those are very two distinct things. I lived in Hollywood for 15 years. I know what I speak. So you're getting this a Hollywood version of this game. And with Legends of Avantris, you're getting people just like you, your next door neighbors and people you go to school with and people you work with. That's what you're watching. So it's very relatable. Critical Role is not.
You'd
It's
like
a
to sit at their
fantasy within a
table.
fantasy.
You'd like to sit right at that table and you could fit in your pajamas.
I wanna play-
and sit
yeah.
right there and you'd be in it.
I want to play with them.
Yeah, you'd be in it.
Because I could sit at their table and play with them.
They,
Critical Role would run all over you.
right.
Oh my God.
They but Legends of Avantris wants you to feel like you were them. You can be them.
Feels like they're playing a game and not a performance, right?
Yes.
There's no performance involved in what they're doing. It feels so genuine to me, watching them laugh and have fun together.
It feels genuine to everybody. That's part of their success is because people like genuine, especially nowadays with all of the
God.
deep fake stuff and the AI stuff and all the crappy politician crap we've been going through for the last 8 years and all the other garbage that nobody knows what to believe anymore. Everything's a lie. It feels genuine.
Very genuine.
You're right there.
That goes a long way.
It's huge.
Does Critical Role feel genuine to you? If
you
it
know-
does, you're prime material for a cult.
Well,
Critter.
it did. It felt, originally to me, it felt genuine.
It did.
Until I
Ish.
started looking into it and understanding it, and it's not. It is just a polished performance.
It's very polished.
Too polished. They're now trying to manipulate too much of the story rather than just letting it organically happen. There's the illusion of that if you can see through it if you're being honest with yourself while you're watching.
Right.
It's not scripted, but it's planned out. There is an issue when you are doing an actual play for YouTube or an audience.
Right.
We can reference Ginny D had said that people keep asking her, when are you going to show your home game? When are you going to show you DMing? We all want to see it. We all want to see it. And she said, and great answer, we'd have to change the way we play. We don't want to do that. Fair enough, right?
Yeah.
Because you do a little bit. You have to do it for an audience. So you gotta keep the pacing differently, and you gotta keep the energy up. And sometimes maybe you're just playing, you're having a hangover day.
Right. And you still play anyway with your
You
friends.
play anyway because it's just you're all like this, and you're like but you're still playing D&D. It's fun.
It's not always your day, but when you're doing a YouTube game, it has to be your day all the time.
Yes, you're not going to show up to a set
you
hungover
can't.
and I came to my job today.
You
'cause
can't.
That's no.
It's going to be Sunday for me.
Mr. Hollywood wouldn't like that.
But Legends of Avantris, they have a perfect balance because they know they're doing it for an audience. But they said, and Richie said this, that let's just turn the cameras on and don't do anything differently. And then they said, once a camera is on you and you're playing your game, it just inherently puts a little bit of performance behind your stuff because now
Right.
you're aware there's a new element.
Right.
But that's all they do. They don't go, how do we make sure that this is, the critters are going to love it and we got to do this and this will shock them and this will, and they pre-plan everything. They overthinking it way too much and then it gets out of control and it's this crap you don't want to watch anymore. And what happened to them? They used to be so good. They haven't changed a thing.
No.
If you watch Legends of Avantris first one to now, they've gotten some better equipment. They've gotten some better cameras and some mics, but they haven't changed the way they play. They've gotten better.
They've gotten better. That's
Yeah.
it. That's not
Which
like,
you do.
Of
The more you
course.
do something, the better you get at it.
Of course.
They still have fun.
They have so much. That's what's fun about them. They're having so much fun, genuine fun. So it's a whole different experience and a feeling. And if you watch Legends of Avantris, you will see that my table could be like this. It could be because they're more into role playing than they are into just dice math. The whole break in the door, kill the monster, take the treasure, take a rest, rinse and repeat. That's not the way they play the game. And I don't think most tables do want that because otherwise, why would everybody watching all these D&D YouTube channels?
Right. They're looking for the beats, the fun, the role playing
Storytelling.
aspect of it.
Story.
Right? Yeah.
They want to tell a story,
Right.
and a good story. And that's what they're committed to. They're committed to telling a good story.
Yeah.
Critical Role is just committed to, it's just all masturbatory. It's a performance. It's a masturbatory performance. And we'll get into that later when the kids go to bed. So it's rated PG-13 now, but it's getting to the R.
Here we go.
Legends of Avantris is a group of friends.
That's a hard one. I do it too. Slow it down. Like, take your own advice.
Legends of Avantris.
Ooh, that sounded good.
Yes. Is a group of friends,
You
right?
can have that Legends of Avantris for free.
Yeah.
Just take that. Just
Yep,
take it.
it's fine.
They're a group of, we've already touched on their. Shut up!
I love when that happens.
Well,
They
and-
are a group of friends who play this game together, right? We've already touched on this, as opposed to Critical Role, who may have started out as a group of friends, but now they are a corporation, much like WotC, and they just kind of ruin everything.
Feels very corporate. It
Yes.
feels like it. Like Rick had said before, they want to sell you something all the time.
Every time there's a whisper, he's like, we're selling this whisper is brought by WizKids to sell you some characters of our Bell's Hells group. I'm like, I don't want to buy your figures, dude. Just, what are they whispering about? I want to know the story.
They spend,
Stop.
15, 20 minutes before
Oh
every
my-
session just advertising for themselves. They have all these rules to play by, and we have to do this because now we're big and we made $9 million in that 1 year, and we have a TV show, so we have to, and you can feel it. You can feel you're getting some kind of, what do you call it? Machine made almost, as opposed to organic, right?
Yeah, cookie cutter, right? They're just out there pressing this thing out.
Yeah.
And now
I
it's
think-
just become that.
I think now, yes, because I think the first season was very spontaneous and cool and different.
Because they didn't know that they were going to get big and famous. They just thought, people will watch us during the, blah, blah, blah. Just watch us play our game. So it felt genuine then. Not anymore. They started sniffing their own farts and humping each other's legs. And, oh my God, you're so great. And everything
you're so
is,
great.
They're like watching an award show now. Where everybody's just, oh my God, we're the best. No, we're the best. No, you're the best. No, I'm the best. Yes, I am the best. And so are you the best. We're both the best. But this is how they are. They're just stroking each other's egos. Because they're and they just don't seem to have a perspective on how that relates to people. It doesn't relate to people in any way, shape, or form. They bought their own hype.
Yeah.
And you could see where it changed, and it changed very quickly.
You can feel it.
Legends of Avantris has every right to have that kind of ego. 2 million subscribers, broke the record for the RPG Kickstarter, and yet
You wouldn't feel
nothing's changed.
Right.
You wouldn't know unless somebody told you that. They don't toot their own horns.
No.
They don't come across as, look how great we are and we're so much better than you and you're so lucky to be able to watch us do our craft. That's a
It's not
delicious spark to
Shakespeare.
do.
It's not-
Largest, Laura Croft.
Okay.
It's not Shakespeare in the round, right? It's D&D. Come on, guys. Just be like Legends of Avantris. Relax.
To be or not to be?
Play the game. Have fun.
And it's the genuine versus the phony. We touched on how people like things that are genuine now,
Right.
and they don't like things that are phony.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one. It's no brainer because your table can be genuine. Because why wouldn't it be? Are you guys playing at your home game and trying to win an award? Probably not.
Yes.
What the big difference is, this is what you can do at your home game to make all the difference in the world. What they do as a group of friends,
I'm gonna write this.
Who?
right? So yeah, take Legends of Avantris.
LOA.
What they do as friends, LOA, let's call them LOA.
Loa.
You'll know what we mean. They really immerse themselves. And I know this from, again, a bunch of their interviews and listening to them talk, and I'm part of their Patreon, which I'm only two. I only do 2 Patreons, and I'm very selective, and theirs is great. The other one is Dungeon Coach. They immerse themselves. If they're going to play this game, they're going to go for it.
They go for
Right?
it.
They
yeah.
go for it. It's like an athlete playing football. They just bleed out there. Leave everything on the field.
They're in.
Because otherwise, what's the point? If you're just going through the motions, what's the point? I guess socially, you're just having fun with your friends and you're going through the motions. But play poker. Play Clue. This is a role-playing game, and they take that very seriously, but not, because they also make each other, they're very funny.
Oh,
I've
my
seen their stuff. They're
God.
very funny. They make each other laugh. Mace has that laugh that's just, you think any minute now they're going to have to take him to the emergency room because he can't breathe.
Gosh.
They also do a key thing, and they've talked about this. It's a vulnerability thing.
Oh.
Because they're close friends, they're vulnerable on each other, and they know they're not going to be made fun of by the other people for taking risks and trying a silly voice
go.
and doing
There you go.
something to immerse themselves.
So very encouraging.
It's super encouraging because they get rewarded for that, as a matter of fact. Because now, all of a sudden, the more you do that and take those risks and really go over it with the role play, the rest of the table's like, yes, that was great. You can do that. You can encourage each other. You can make fun of each other. We make fun of each other all the time.
All
It's
the time.
fun. One of my favorite parts of the week is making fun of Brandon. It's great. But I draw the line at when he tries a voice or anything. He does all kinds of goofy stuff when he role plays. You'll see. We love it. That's why Rick and I put this group together. And when he came in and he started doing his stuff, we were like, oh, this guy's a fucking keeper. He just role plays. He just goes for it. He doesn't care what anybody thinks or what they say. He's just doing it. So that's so fun. And that will elevate your table, I'm telling you, beyond anything else that Critical Role does.
Yeah.
That's not going to help you. This will help you. This simple thing of just really going for it, committing to the bit, and being vulnerable. Try taking risks, trying things. It should be a safe table full of friends. If you're at a table where they're going to make fun of you for trying to role play or try out a new voice or an accent,
You need a new table.
get a new table. They also prep the hell out of their campaigns.
So much.
They do.
How do you know this?
One of them said in an interview, he said sometimes they get up to 12 sessions 0. But when they're creating, it's all about character creation because they really want to get to know their characters before they even start the campaign.
Yeah.
So they're bouncing ideas off each other and they're improvising with each other and they're making soundtracks for their characters, which is a great idea. Ginny D does that as well to bring her back up, but it's a great idea.
That really gets you immersed in your character and what's going on.
Role play your stuff before you even start the campaign because you're going to spend a year of your life probably running this campaign. Get your characters down. We role play backstories with each other before we get going.
Yeah.
And so that way we can find connections for our characters to have. And then maybe that works, and then we throw it away if we don't like it. But it's worth trying and experimenting with. That's also when we experiment with voices and accents, if we're going to do that, and see if we can make that work. Sometimes it's like, I just can't get this one. I'm not going to. It doesn't feel right with the character. Play with all that stuff. When you get to session 1, all of a sudden everything goes out the window because everybody's like, oh, we already started, and now I can't experiment anymore. So you can, but, do it in that stuff. If you don't want to role play your characters together, you can role play each other's backstory with each other.
Help each other out.
If Brick's got, something that he wants to role play out with his character, but it doesn't involve Brandon's character, he could say, hey, Brandon, my backstory has to do with my mother. Can you role play my mother for me? This is who she is, and this is the situation. And so you can do that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it just makes you better and better at the role playing.
Yeah, adds
Anyway.
to everything.
So it'll get you more immersed. It'll get you deeper in there, more committed. Just commit. So you can do that. Yes, all the professionals do that too. But so do just really good role-playing tables, as evidenced by watching Legends of Avantris. To be fair, yes, Critical Role does that too. They do the immersion. They turn everything into a soap opera. They almost take it too far. But again, there's a difference between doing it and being welcoming and then being masturbatory instead. Which Critical Role is they're just masturbating up there. They're just, look how great I am, and everybody give me accolades for how great I am. Legends of Avantris isn't looking for anything other than the satisfaction of having that role play experience. They get together once a week, like your table does, or once every 2 weeks, and wants that thing that you can't get from any other aspect of your life. That deep immersive storytelling thing. If you just commit to that, whatever it takes, whatever it means for your table, you as individuals and as a group, just work on it and do it.
And to bring you back to transparency that we talked about before, they're telling you what they're doing to make their characters well.
They're telling you this.
Critical Role doesn't tell you anything. They tell you nothing. They wouldn't tell you how they make their characters.
How do you guys get into your character?
Oh, we just brought them in.
I'm sorry, what? I was born that way.
Yeah.
I'm just brilliant at it. I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you.
Open it up. Let us see what you do.
For real.
What are you hiding from?
I think they're just worried that if they start telling their secrets, there'll be other people out there that's going to take away from them.
That's a good point, because they are afraid. There's this fear in Hollywood, and I know this again firsthand from working there. There's only enough to go around. Fame.
Oh.
And so if you want it, and if your friends have it, oh my God, that means there's not enough for you. It's this crazy thing. When I lived in New York for the 10 years before LA, it was a very different mentality, and somebody explained to me that whole business is like a ladder in New York. And you're always in the middle, right? And the people above you are helping you up, and you're helping the people below you. And that's what makes it work. So I went to LA with that mentality and found out,
No.
what are you talking? That's the dumbest thing we've ever heard. It's every man for himself. It's swimming with the sharks. That's where they get that from. You're swimming with the sharks in business, and Hollywood's nothing but a really sharky business. So it's very much that mentality. It's gross, and you can feel it. I can feel it coming off the screen.
Bring us all up. If I'm better and you're better, we're all better together.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
That's what I was saying. I like that thing.
Yeah. Well, it's what we do at our table, and you can see it happen at Legends with a Legends of Avantris.
We try to do it. We try to do all this stuff at our table. We're not there yet. We're getting better all the time, like the Beatles say. What's fun if you're a sports fan.
Oh yeah.
What I love about baseball is the same thing you kind of love about RPGs. Is it's so unpredictable. You don't know how a game is going to end. You don't know. So it's the unpredictability, right? So when you're playing D&D and you're playing any RPG, then you just don't know what's going to happen, and that's fun. That's why people like to used to watch reality TV. It's all scripted now.
Scripted, yeah.
They scripted it almost after the Osbournes, which was brilliant. The first series with the Osbournes, they just put a camera on these people and let them go to town. And then now they try to control it after that. Every single one. And so but that's Critical Role. They're trying to control a spontaneous thing.
Yeah.
And make you feel like, oh, look at all. And they'll overreact. Oh, look I can't believe you did that. Holy crap. It's overkill.
Oh my God, Molly Mock died?
Oh no, who didn't see that coming? We didn't plan that at all. So this is what they do. But when those moments happen with Legends of Avantris and your table, they're genuine because you don't know. You haven't planned it out. You haven't put out the beats of the story. Again, I'm not saying scripted, but certainly it's beat out. It's outlined. This is what they do. And it's obvious this is what they do. They didn't do it in the first season because they were just actually playing the game.
So Avantris feels genuine with their reactions to everything. They're just on.
It's like watching sports or a boxing match or something when something
like
crazy happens.
You're
and
involved in it. You're involved in it.
Yes.
I jumped.
I was there.
Yeah,
It was great.
Jumped, yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. So it's unpredictable. Critical Role is pretty predictable. When somebody dies, any of the characters, are you like, oh no, what's going to happen? No.
They're going to come back.
They're not going to stay dead. They never stay dead. So there's never any danger or any risk. We've talked about that in our D&D video. It's just because we can't let that happen. So they're never in danger.
So crocodile tears, is that what those are?
Yeah, crocodile, because they cry when, oh no, this one's fun.
They're all like crying, and you're like, come on, he's coming back.
The only way they stay dead is if Sam Riegel says, I don't want to play this character anymore. Let him die. Yeah. And then Matt probably still fights with him. Are you sure? Because we can do this ritual thing.
He could be an NPC.
He could be an NPC. He'll come back. He could be a god in the next. How about we just make him a god in the next
we just
season?
make Molly Mock the bad guy.
Yeah, we'll bring him back.
That's what they did in part 2.
Yeah.
They made him the bad guy.
Good Lord. Yeah, you're not getting that with Legends of Avantris.
Oh my God, no.
They don't plan anything out.
They don't play
Just like your table. So that's how you can be like them.
Just like them.
And the other thing, this is going to sound, other people have said this to other YouTubers, it's counterintuitive, but not.
Tell us.
It's a spontaneous role-playing game, so why should rules matter? Well, because what Legends of Avantris does, and your table can do as well, if you know the rules for your character at least. Know the rules for your character. We've said this before.
Yeah.
Memorize it.
That's
Know
deep.
it. Don't have your face in the book while you're playing, because that affords you the ability to really role-play freely within those rules, because you're telling a story, but you're playing a game at the same time, right? Critical Role is not really playing a game too much. They're just telling a story. Till it comes to combat. Then all of a sudden, the story goes to hell, and they just roll dice math. That's what they do. Their combat's the most boring in the
Your
game.
combat is way better when I know my character and I can listen to what you're doing.
Right.
And comment on it and help you out and push your narrative ahead instead of me
Right.
staring at my paper being like, oh, what am I going to do next? D&D
hold on,
5e is
where's
pretty
it
simple
go?
anyway. You know what you're going to freaking do because you do the same thing every time. Eldritch Blast, I'm going to do this. I'm a fighter, I'm going to smash stuff. There's no difference in anything. So why are you looking at your paper anyway, Ashley?
Legends of Avantris, they're never looking down at how does this spell work? How does my
No.
thing work?
No.
Because they know their characters. They've learned them during all their pregame stuff. So now, when it comes to combat, what are you going to do? They're not like, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. They go, I'm going to cast this spell, and it looks like this, and da-da-da, and I got a 3, and they get plus, but they're up here. They're role-playing as their character doing it.
Yeah.
It makes it go faster. It's fun.
It allows you to roleplay freely, like you said, and, like you were saying, react to everything going on.
Around you.
Like instantaneously.
That's
You're
so
not.
important.
You're reacting. It becomes more immersive, more cinematic,
Fluid.
fluid.
It's fluid combat.
when you have your rules and you know your character.
Because what they just said is an important point, too. This is what Avantris does and what your table should be doing. And we're still working on this because it's hard.
It's hard.
Listen to each other.
Oh, jeez.
If you know the rules, you can react like Rick said, like Brandon said. You can react because that's part of the whole spontaneous role-playing thing is reacting. I don't know how many times I personally have missed things that somebody else has done that my character would have reacted to very importantly or humorously, and I'm just down here wondering how my next thing works. And then I see it when we videotaped it because we're putting this up on videoed it. We don't use tape. When we put it up, we're putting it up for YouTube, and I'm like, I missed a whole opportunity for really cool role play there because I didn't know the rules. We're playing DC 20, so we're still learning the rules because it's a brand new system and it's still in the beta. But that's why, and more importantly for us even, we're like, guys, learn the rules before we play every Sunday. Learn the rules for your character. It's not that much to ask. You don't have to memorize the entire 300 pages, but just know the rules for your character.
Yeah. Rules are cool. Let's go. Is this cool? Is this working? Let's do it.
The rules are cool. It's very important, but it's also you can be taken too far, which
For sure.
Critical Role takes that way too far.
Oh, all the time. All the time.
They made Daggerheart because they wanted a game where they don't have any rules to stop them from telling their story. Why do you need a game at all then? Just tell a story. Just tell an improv story. That's all they're doing anyway. Under this guise that we're playing D&D. No, you're not. Not really until it comes to combat. And then you're taking the worst part of D&D, which is the sloggy combat, and you're putting that in everybody's face for an entire session.
2 hours.
But other than that, you're not playing the game. Legends of Avantris is playing the game. They have a love for role-playing games, D&D in particular, because that's really mostly what they know. But they don't let the clunky, horrible parts of the D&D mechanics mess with their storytelling and their role-playing.
not at
They
all.
don't. It serves their role-play. That's what they use it for.
It's the most important part is that role playing. The combat just serves it. Just
serves it.
lines it up for them.
They get together every week before they even started filming it just to get into this immersive storytelling role-playing experience in the form of a game. So your table can utilize those things. If you're trying to be like Matt Mercer in Critical Role, here's another reason why it doesn't work, because they're not doing it for anybody else. They're doing it for themselves, but they're still putting on a show.
Yes.
Right.
Those things don't mix. Dimension 20 and Brennan Lee Mulligan, they're also very well-trained professionals.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, much better than Critical Role.
No.
Not individually as far as their talent goes, but as a whole package, they're much better.
Yes.
And they are storytelling, they are performing while they're playing this game and stuff, but they're doing it for you. They're doing it for the audience. There's not this thing between where you're like, I'm not worthy, blah, 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 and they're not up there being all masturbatory. It could seem like, but they're so into it. But it's the same way that Legends of Avantris is. So they get so into it, and that's fun to watch. It's genuine.
That's the key.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Dimension 20, even though they are a professional group playing this game for your entertainment.
It's entertainment. You feel it. You
They
know
do
it.
Right. Yeah, you know
You
it.
know
There's
it.
no illusions there.
Yeah, there's no bullshit.
Here, we're going to entertain you because we are trained professionals. This is what we do, so we're just going to do it and play the game, and hopefully you guys like it.
Or if you want to watch some real people learn the game with Brandon Lee Mulligan, watch Dungeons and Drag Queens.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh my God.
Great stuff.
Brilliant. They never played before in their
never played
lives when they
before.
played with him. Now, they are professional entertainers because
They
they're
are.
drag queens, so they're very used to that and putting on a show, very immersive. But they go for it. If you really want to watch people go for the immersion, watch
what a great
Dungeons and Drag Queens. To me, it's their best
So great.
season.
Fun.
I actually pay a subscription. I don't. Again, I have 2 Patreons, as I said, but that I subscribe to. But I subscribe to Dimension 20's. What are they called? Their thing is called something. It's a whole
Channel with it. Okay.
channel. So I subscribe to it, yearly, because I like it that much, and I don't get the same feeling from them as I get from Critical Role of like I'm being just not even entertained. What's the word?
Well, they're transparent too. They're plotting out their
Boondoggle.
season. They're like
Hoodwinked.
Yeah, they're hoodwinking you. Yeah, it's transparent. We're doing a season. Dungeons and Drag Queens. Here we go.
Oh, Dimension 20. Yeah.
Dimension 20, they tell you. Critical Role
they-
doesn't. It's like a secret.
Yeah, and you don't know how long it's going to go on, and
let's
you're
PG,
just who cares how long we take and how all over the place it gets because you'll watch us because we're so great. Dimension 20 is like, all right, we know you got other things to do, and you're not going to just sit there and watch us for 8 hours straight. So we're going to do shorter campaigns. If you want more of it, we'll do a season 2, but we don't want to shove our stuff down your throat. We want you to keep coming back for more.
Right.
Know when it's time to get out of the party. The party's over. Go home. Critical Role doesn't know when to go home. They don't know that the party's over. The bar's closed. Go home. You'll be here for an hour. Yeah, another good one. Rick brought this up. Is you're watching player growth when you're watching Legends of Avantris, because if you start at the beginning, which I wouldn't even recommend, but if you really like them, go ahead and do it. But they grow and they get better, and Critical Role was already did all their training and all their stuff before they started. They're polished performers.
Yeah, they're
So
ready.
there's already this chasm between your table and them. You're like, oh, how can I be like that? Well, take 10 years and go do some improv classes, and then you'll be just like Critical Role. Or you can just watch these guys, Legends of Avantris, and do what they do. Just you can see when you're watching it, what are they doing that our table isn't doing? Oh, they're doing this. Let's see it. Let's try that. Hey guys, what if we try this? We're just trying to show you there's an alternative to Critical Role, which is Legends of Avantris, which is a relatable table, an attainable goal. You can have that. So you're not going to be like, I don't even want to play the game anymore because my table can't be like, I want Matt Mercer and I want to play with those people. And no, that's going to ruin your game. But this won't. My God, it should be the best news in the world that there are people like this, the Legends of Avantris crew, that are doing what you love to do.
They should be the benchmark.
They are the benchmark. They're the benchmark for us.
Right.
They're the inspiration for us, and they should be for everybody who's not a trained professional. There you go. Now you have it. You're welcome.
There's the
have-
map. That's it. Here you go.
And watch their interviews. Again, they'll lay it all out for you. They'll tell you exactly how they got there. They'll tell you how they create their characters, how they work. They struggle with voices and accents, and they talk about how they work on those things. Yeah. So do all of that. There's your answer. Forget the Matt Mercer effect and enjoy your game. Really immerse yourself into the role play, into the storytelling, into the making fun of Brandon. That's fun. What do you got to say?
We love you
Bye.
very much.